Open the door. Open the door.
I just rang your doorbell because I have a couple questions for you. What? Are you sure?
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to your cabin crew who will demonstrate the safety features of this aircraft.
Denver International Airport is not just an airport, it's a labyrinth of whispers and dark tales. Conspiracy theories abound, from the inward-facing barbed wire fences suggesting containment of the unknown to the unsettling subliminal messages hidden within the airport's murals. But one story is irrefutably true, the legend of Blue Mustang, or as the locals ominously call it, Blucifer. Standing tall and sinister on Pena Boulevard, this 32-foot, 9,000-pound behemoth greets every visitor with a chilling stare. Commissioned in the mid-1990s, amidst the murky waters of a grossly over-budget and delayed airport project, Blucifer's creation came at a deadly cost. Luis Jimenez, the artist behind this monstrous masterpiece, met a gruesome fate. As he was crafting the sculpture, a section of the Blue Mustang fell, severing an artery in his leg. The lifeblood of its creator spilled onto the studio floor, sealing Blucifer's reputation in infamy. Stop, run that back real quick. There's definitely more to his death than they want you to know. In 1992, Denver's public art program commissioned a brilliant blue sculpture of a rearing horse for a staggering $300,000. But Jimenez missed the deadline by more than a decade. The whole affair reeks of mismanagement and neglect. Those years were a grueling period in Jimenez's life. An old injury had cost him one eye, and he was embroiled in a protracted, nasty divorce suit. In 2003, the airport, in its cold-hearted manner, sued Jimenez for the return of its $165,000 advance. The artist countersued, revealing the airport's sleazy plans to move the sculpture to an indoor location. The squabble was settled in 2004 through mediation. Mustang would be placed outdoors on Pena Boulevard, and the artist was forced to either meet deadlines or provide a different sculpture. Such bureaucratic bullying. On a fateful Tuesday morning, Jimenez and two assistants were diligently working on Mustang. The horse's head was finished, and he was beginning to give the body its final coat of paint. Suddenly, a piece of the sculpture came loose from a hoist, striking Jimenez and pinning him to the steel support, according to the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office report. Close friends say the accident severed the artist's femoral artery. As Jimenez was being rushed by ambulance from Hondo to a hospital in Ruidoso, he managed to call his brother, David, in Los Angeles. "I'm not going to make it," he said, with a tragic resignation. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. He had struggled with this for so long, said El Paso-based photographer Bruce Berman, capturing the unnecessary torment Jimenez endured due to this cursed project. And it just makes me wonder about all the other so-called conspiracy theories, because where there's smoke, there's fire. So I took my ass over to TikTok to see what else I could find, and boy, did I find a lot. From eerie murals with hidden messages to secret underground bunkers, the theories surrounding Denver International Airport are endless. TikTok is buzzing with videos from curious travelers and conspiracy enthusiasts who are determined to uncover the truth. These sleuths are diving deep, filming every corner of the airport and sharing their findings with the world. And guess what? Some of these TikTokers have been watched by airport staff. One creator in particular announced his plan to investigate DIA, and by the time he reached a certain point, security was already waiting for him, having seen his posts. They knew he was coming. Here are those videos. Let's dive in and see what these daring explorers have uncovered.
Are we ready to have a conversation about the Denver airport? Because usually we got like pussy pop and sidetrack our way into conspiracies. We got to be adding 1 + 1, 2 + 2. We got to stand upside down and squint real hard. But I think this particular airport, they're trying to play in our face. Does this horse not look like it's there to drag your ass all the way to hell? Let me begin by being facetious. We build airports as a means to transport people from one place to another, do we not? Well, in that respect, we shouldn't have never built Denver Airport to begin with. There was nothing wrong with the airport that was there before. To understand the full scope of the fuckery, we gotta go through sections of the airport. Starting with the delays, the fact that there was no need for it in the first place, this freaky ass horse, the doomsday artwork, the gargoyles that look demonic. What the fuck?
My uncle used to own the land it was built on.
Wait, what?
So there was an airport in Colorado, an international airport already, that worked perfectly fine, but they decided one day, hey, we're gonna move it, and we're gonna make it way far away from Denver. It's like it's so like 45 minutes outside of Denver.
It's the middle of freaking nowhere. You just like it's so far away, and I never understood why.
Exactly.
So maybe you're gonna tell me.
So they could build underneath it, and they could build this facility. But that's beside the point. My uncle actually owned, but not all of it, but majority of the land it was built on. So, and he owned a farm and or a ranch out there, and like a decent house. And one day, he literally said, one day a man came to his door and said, "Hey, we're looking to buy this property." Didn't tell him why. He said, "We're looking to buy this property." I guess they said for like commercial or something. And he was confused because he lived in the middle of nowhere. He said it was like 15 minutes to like a mom and pop grocery store. Mm-hmm. And of course, since the airport was built, like towns have sprung up around it. But like at the time, it's very rural.
It still is though. I mean, it's really, really hard to get anywhere.
Yeah.
From the Denver airport.
And like, he was like, okay. And so, he said no at first, and then, cause they didn't say, he was like, no, I'm not selling. But then they came back and they paid him, and there's like no value really in the land. It's just land. They offered him, $3 million.
Whoa.
$3 million. And he went, well, he goes, well, I'm out of here. And he has a big old house, and he retired.
I can picture it like, you know, he puts on his hat, he puts on his raincoat, grabs his briefcase, and he's out.
He goes, we'll offer you $3 million. You know what? You can have my wife too. I shouldn't say that. So that's actually my aunt.
Traveled by plane and found yourself visiting the DIA for an extended period of time, you'll definitely notice that there's something off about the place. I mean, just look at the walls. Covering the walls are the large murals that adorn the DIA, and while at first glance, you might not feel concerned, a closer look at all 4 murals, as well as a few of the comments made by the very artist who painted them, may raise a few flags for you. The first mural, titled In Peace and Harmony with Nature, features what appears to be a forest fire consuming the surrounding nature, while the children, who are at the center of the painting, panic and gather the dying animals. Some even carrying a few extinct animals in glass boxes, strangely enough. Mural 2, titled Children of the World Dream of Peace, sees a city in ruins, decimated by warfare, and at the center, a towering soldier, complete with a gas mask, assault rifle, and a sword in hand has slain the dove of peace. Small children cower in fear over the decimation that has taken place, unsure of what's to come, where to run or what to do. The intensity of this depiction is overwhelming and incredibly eerie, not to mention disturbing. Perhaps most chilling in this painting is the grieving mother who cradles her now dead baby in the corner. It's simply shocking. And while I do understand the message that it's trying to give, it feels strangely out of place in this public airport.
This is going to blow your mind. A serious mistake was made with the Denver airport conspiracy. Normally, all over the world, secured areas use barbed wire fencing to prevent people from getting inside. You know this as the barbed wire is facing outwards, but in the Denver airport, the whole system is inverted. When you walk through the complex of Denver International Airport, you'll notice that the barbed part of the fence is strangely pointing inwards. This is the same for prisons. It's like barbed wire is trying to prevent something from getting out. New reports have also emerged with former employees claiming to have heard a powerful roar when walking in the lower levels of the airport. This has led some people to wonder if instead of being an original airport, the complex was built as a prison for a reptilian being. And precisely 2 weeks ago, a traveler decided to use the basement floor restrooms of the airport, and what he saw revealed the truth about the mysterious place.
Is Denver Airport actually the Illuminati headquarters or bunker for the elite? So Denver International Airport, or DIA, opened on February 28th, 1995, and was actually 16 months behind schedule. And the weird thing about this is that there was actually already a perfectly functioning airport, International Stapleton Airport, in Denver at the time. And DIA also had an original budget of $650 million, but it ended up being over $4.8 billion. And no one really knows how it got that expensive and that over budget.
And on top of going ridiculously over budget, can we talk about what the airport looks like from an aerial view? A symbol that all theorists are very well aware of, the swastika. And speaking of the outside design, they put up a barbed wire fence along the outside of the property, which isn't totally weird except for the fact that most airports want to keep outsiders off the property. Although this one's angled inward, which keeps people in, not out.
Okay, but we also can't forget about Blucifer, this large blue Mustang that stands at 32 feet high and is 9,000 pounds, has these creepy red glowing eyes. And then this statue actually ended up killing its artist and severing his artery in 2000.
People say a lot of crazy stuff about the Denver airport, that it was built by the Illuminati or Freemasons or aliens. I was a little skeptical about all the conspiracy theory stuff until I actually visited Denver airport. This is a photo I took. What is going on here? Why is he stabbing the dove of peace? Who put all these starving children in the middle of a public airport? I'm just trying to find out where the Chick-fil-A is. Like, you drive up to the airport and what's the first thing you see? This statue known as Blucifer. Like, this thing is terrifying enough as is. Who gave it glowing eyes? And let's not forget this one, which features what I believe to be a whale swimming through a sea of blood? What is going on here? I'm not a conspiracy theory guy, but like, I really get where they're coming from.
so wie alle Kinder sind. Erst ist es froh, Halli, hallo, auf einmal heul, Halli, hallo, auf einmal heul zum Quenchen.
Where are you guys moving these kids to?
None of your business, bro.
Do you guys have paperwork for these kids?
Don't worry about it.
You know, a third of these kids go missing.
Sorry.
You guys know anything about this?
Yeah, it happens every day.
About these guys moving these kids through the airport?
Yeah.
Straight up.
It's America.
A third of these kids go missing.
Wow.
This the truth?
It is. I don't know.
Correct. That's according to the New York Times article. 1/3 of these kids that dropped off at this month. I mean, these look like grown men, though. How old are these kids? You guys work for Compass Connections?
I think so.
Why are you guys so secretive? I'm so curious. Like, what's the big secret here? Hello?
Seems like you know more than us, so.
Huh?
Seems like you know more than us, so you tell us.
Okay, I just don't understand. Like, why are you hiding your face, man? What's the big secret?
Colorado's experts on human trafficking are raising serious questions about a shocking claim that a human trafficking ring tried to abduct a woman at Denver International Airport. The claim moved from social media onto 2 local news stations, including one here in Denver.
I just really want to use this event that happened to me as a way to spread awareness and hopefully prevent it from happening in the future.
Madison Herman of Ohio claims to have been the victim of an attempted abduction by a gang of human traffickers at Denver International Airport. She says a bartender drugged her. A woman approached her suspiciously. 3 men then bought tickets for her flight to Cleveland and acted strangely around her on the plane. She even suspects a flight attendant was in on it. She wrote on Facebook, quote, "They had something set up behind me, and the man beside me was controlling it with his phone." Herman says she told another flight attendant and got off the flight safely. She says a blood test found an anti-anxiety medication that can cause drowsiness, a drug she doesn't take. She says she was targeted because she was using crutches. She claims she was injured by the COVID vaccine.
I never thought I would be a victim.
In Herman's Facebook post, she's wearing a shirt from Operation Underground Railroad, a controversial anti-sex trafficking group known for its undercover stings. Herman says she learned about their work on Facebook.
I really liked what they're doing and how they're trying to spread awareness.
So you know how people say that Denver airport's creepy? I got off that elevator and I can't go anywhere. Freaking weird this room is. It's all locked emergency exit doors.
I'm recording this in the bathroom because it's nice inside, okay? Let me tell you a story, okay? I worked as a Starbucks barista in the Denver International Airport. Every shift started from 4:38 a.m. to 2 p.m. My Starbucks was on Concourse B. When you go to the Denver International Airport, you immediately enter into Concourse A. That's where everything at the start is. So I have to get on a train underground at 4:30 a.m. In each train, usually there's maybe 2 people. There have been many times when at 4:30 a.m., maybe even 3 if I'm feeling I should go in early, I'm the only one there. When I tell you there have been many times where I've caught the train at 4:30 a.m. and a couple of times the train has literally just stopped underneath and damn near made me late because it just needed, work or some shit. It just stopped. When I tell you being underground in a train like that is so scary at 4 a.m. I'm the only one on that train. I am the only one on that train. And like maybe 2 other people on different carts that are like back there. All right. It's scary. Okay. Because like there's nobody underneath and it feels eerie. Okay. Let me tell you something. If you're in Colorado, if you live in Colorado, you know what the international airport looks like. If you don't know what it looks like, I want you to spend literally 20 minutes, literally just walk around Concourse A, which is literally like right where the planes land usually, like the first entrance, like right where you like leave the airport, I guess. Just walk around, okay? It doesn't feel like a place where you're like, you as a human are welcome. You know what I mean? Like, look at the art, okay? It feels very weird, very off-putting, if you will. And then walking from my train sometimes to like my Starbucks, that walk where there's like literally like people who are catching their plane early and there's like maybe like 5 people there, like it feels so, like maybe it's good that it's empty, but like you can get lost. You can get lost. I think for my first week, I literally was always like 30 minutes late because, and this is not a good thing. This is like, why does it go down? Why does it keep going deeper? I don't know. I don't know. And there have actually been a couple times when, I, as a Starbucks barista, like we used to run out of like supplies and stuff like that. And so sometimes like people needed to go downstairs, but only like the higher ups can do that. Like the general manager was the only one who was allowed to like go deeper than the basement. Where the fuck is the basement in the Denver International? Where is that? Where? Please tell me. Because I thought like the train was the lowest level that you could be. Nope. It's scary. It's off-putting. The training for working at the Denver International Airport, like on the computer, if you know, you know. But like they have videos. And I wish I had like the training videos, because some of the situations that they prepare you for sometimes, like on the training video so that you can get your badge to like work there. Why would I as a Starbucks barista need to prepare for that? Why? You know, like, I don't remember most of them, but I know there were a few that was like, I'm just making coffee, what?
Is the Denver airport cursed? I'm at the Denver airport right now and something weird is going on. It all started as I was driving up to the Denver airport. I noticed this giant blue horse. After further research, I found out that this blue horse has a name, and it's Blucifer. And even though Blucifer's not alive, he's actually killed someone before. He's a 32-foot tall blue horse with red glowing eyes. He was originally built by Luis Jimenez. When he was being transported, he had to be separated into multiple different parts. But when it arrived and it was being constructed, a piece actually fell on Luis. Luis did not survive. Now locals say that Blucifer represents death and destruction. And that's only the first of 5 conspiracies that surround the Denver airport.
They keep deleting the video about the murals, so I'm really just gonna have to watch my mouth. Basically, there are these murals inside the airport that actually depicted a lot of apocalyptic kind of, let me just show you that. Like, imagine walking into baggage claim and seeing this. Or better yet, this. The weird part is a lot of these murals had children incorporated into them. Mind you, this was made in the 1990s, and it even references things that we're experiencing today. Now, these murals were so controversial for the last about like 8 years. They've been putting them up and taking them down, putting them up and taking them down. But the lore gets better. If you guys don't know about Blucifer, this is going to be who welcomes you to the Denver airport. When I was in Denver this week, I met some locals who were telling me that they actually moved this statue to do some construction underneath the airport.
So then I got curious and I really wanted to know more about the crime and stuff that goes on. And y'all, people go missing and then magically turn up. One lady went missing and was dead in her car for 6 weeks. Y'all should really look into the theories about this place.
A passenger made a grim discovery at Denver International Airport, finding the body of a missing woman inside a parked car that had been there for 6 weeks. The woman, 56-year-old Catherine Doyle vanished last October, leaving her partner Cinda Luther in despair as Westminster police expressed limited capacity to assist in cases involving adults. "I think it is deplorable," Luther remarked. "When a child goes missing, there's an Amber Alert. When an adult is missing, especially with mental illness, nothing is done." Desperate for answers, Luther took to missing persons websites and conducted her own search. "I went through 6 weeks of hell not knowing anything," she recounted. In November, Doyle was found deceased in her car in the DIA parking garage, having apparently taken her own life by ingesting pills. Luther explained, "They found her in the back seat of a car. Every night, the license plates of all cars in DIA's parking lots are recorded and stored in a handheld computer. A simple check by police with DIA could have revealed the missing vehicle's presence." A DIA spokesman stated that with 40,000 parking spaces, it's impossible to check every car. Doyle's body was ultimately discovered by a traveler who initially thought she was sleeping, but grew concerned when he returned from his trip and saw she hadn't moved, prompting him to notify the authorities.
Watch it roll off the side. All that shit on us bad, bro. That was embarrassing.
Hello, Facebook friends and viewers of Fox and Channel 2. Coming to you live from Denver International Airport. We are right outside the West parking garage, and I'm going to give you as much information as I can. We just arrived a few moments ago here at DIA, and we circled the parking lot a couple of times, and what we have found out is that a body has been discovered outside the airport.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
We're not exactly sure what has happened, but I'm going to turn around here a second and give you a better view of where this happened. If you look here, this is, I'm going to switch around the camera for a second. And if you switch around, this is the West parking garage. And over there is the actual terminal itself. And as you're actually leaving the airport, this is where our unit is set up. And as you actually leave the airport, some folks coming out of the airport here, and you're leaving the airport to pay your toll for parking at the airport, or perhaps you were just picking somebody up and leaving the airport. Over to the left, where you see that white sheet, the body is, what we're being told so far, is in between, like inside a small area where there is like an electrical box. It looks like, if you look at that gray box in front of me, there's like a red light on top of it. You can see the police tape around the area, and then there is a sheet covering the area. Right when we arrived a moment ago, there was Denver paramedics were leaving the scene, and it was confirmed to us by police that there is a body there. Typically, that's what they do, is they will put up a white sheet and the yellow crime tape. And they have this area blocked off. It is very interesting. It's awkward. Like, what would a body be doing there? We don't know. We don't know if this is someone who died an accidental death, or the mode of death for this person. This is an investigation. We do not know if it's a male or a female. It is right next to the parking lot at the west end of the airport, if you will, by the west parking garage, I should say. And in the foreground, you can actually see airplanes leaving. So it is just quite a scene in terms of, like, how did this person end up here? There are so many different scenarios that could play out. We're not exactly sure. But once again, if you're just joining us, and I'll try to answer your question as much as possible. One of you just asked a homeless possible. We have no idea. There's no way to tell whether this is a male or female, or how the body ended up there. There are so many different scenarios that could play out. But again, if you're just joining us, we are at the Denver International Airport, where we arrived just about 15 minutes ago. And what you're looking at in the center of your screen there is an area where a body was discovered. There is yellow crime tape around the area. That it has been cordoned off, and there's a white sheet to protect, of course, anyone from actually seeing the body. There are some officers standing around and some emergency vehicles. To give you an idea of where this was found, we are right outside the west parking garage, and this is the parking garage. It's right next to the actual terminal. You can see the white tips of the actual terminal itself. And when you leave the west parking garage, or when you're parking in this parking lot right here, you leave the airport and head around this way and exit this way, and you pay to leave the parking lot, and you pay to leave there. Then the area is right over here. Yeah, Joan Ratliff, thank you. Security cameras. There are a lot of security cameras out here. And again, we don't know, could this be an accidental death? Could this be a natural death? Could this be a homicide? We do not know. Lots of questions, and we're waiting to get more information from the actual police department in terms of a public statement. We don't know. Fernando, you raise a good point. A heart attack, maybe it could be. I mean, we don't know. And that is one of the questions that we'll try to answer this afternoon. There are investigators here taking photos, and there are homicide investigators here as well, and we're waiting for a press release from the Denver Police Department. We're staying back at the distance that they have asked us to stay back. Again, this is an area where cars are leaving to pay their toll, and then off to the left-hand side here, you can actually see. So we have a lot of questions, as we know you do as well, and we're trying our best to answer them. And I'm trying to answer your questions as much as I can in terms of what's happening here. Someone just asked, how long has the body been here? We don't know, but if you take a look at where it's located, it's like in an area that you could park right next to this electrical box, and then there's a wall. You could park right next to it and have no idea that there's something back there, and maybe you perhaps might not even look if you don't know to look there. So how it was discovered, we don't know. How long has the body been there, Brooke asks. We don't know. We're trying to figure that out. And, we've had some very cold days. The weather's warming up now. There have been some snow out here, so who knows if it was snow covered. But then if you look at these people here, they're coming from the airport and walking out towards their parking lot to get their cars, and then this is the scene that they run into. So that's what we know so far here at the Denver International Airport. I'll recap it one more time for those of you who are just joining us, because we know that so many of you are popping in and out of this Facebook Live. About 20 or 25 minutes ago, we arrived here at the airport, and police have confirmed for us that there is a body that was discovered at the airport. It is right next to a parking lot where people leave their cars to either fly out of the airport or park their cars for different amounts of time. It's right next to where the pay gate is to pay your tolls for parking the parking lots. If I'm going to whip around this way, the runways are in the background, and then there is the parking garage, the west parking garage, and then there is a terminal. You can see the white tips up on top there, and then the cars exiting on the ramps there are actually exiting the airport, and they are going to pay their tolls right as they leave the airport here at Denver International Airport. Lots of questions here this afternoon. We are trying our best to learn more about what happened. We, of course, are going to be having some live reports on our newscasts at both 4 and 5 this afternoon. And you have a lot of good questions, and so do we. How was the body discovered, we're asked. We do not know. We have no idea, and we're trying to figure that out. We just arrived here, as I mentioned, about 25 minutes ago or so, and we're trying our best to answer it. Once again, we're going to be working on getting that information to as best we can, but so far that's as much as we know. And once the public information officer from the Denver Police Department gives us that information, we'll certainly pass that along to you. But for now, I'm Vicente Adenis reporting live at the Denver International Airport. We will, of course, have updates on this body coming up at 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock this afternoon. Have a good rest of the day.
Colorado family is desperately trying to find a 16-year-old girl. Whitney Luloff was last seen Monday. She had just flown into Denver after visiting family in Arizona.
And now Denver Police, the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, and the FBI are all working to find her. Whitney's mother spoke with Allie Levine today about this search, and she calls much of what she's learned so far, quote, terrifying.
I feel like I can literally collapse because this is so scary. Or I can pick it up and be strong and find her.
For Whitney Luloff's mother, the choice is clear.
We've got to keep our energy and focus on trying to get this girl home.
That much Karen Kopp knows. What she's trying to figure out is where her 16-year-old daughter is now.
She could be anywhere.
Kopp last saw Whitney in person on December 19th. She dropped her daughter off at DIA to visit her father in Arizona. Kopp watched Whitney go through security carrying the green suitcase she left home with.
There's a different suitcase that arrived with her than what we sent. Different color entirely.
Whitney's father says she arrived in Arizona with a dark gray suitcase. He didn't think anything of it. Whitney flew back to Denver on Monday. Her stepdad was waiting for her on the concourse.
She didn't show.
Instead, Denver police say Whitney boarded the A-line train. She got off at 61st and Pena.
Welcome to the next part of Denver International Airport. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the Great Hall. In there is a plaque with the dedication for the airport on there. And they dedicated it to the New World Airport Commission, which is an organization that doesn't even exist or has ever existed. So why would this even be a dedication? Under this capstone, there is a time capsule. This is set to be open in 2094, but no one knows what's inside of it. There's symbols and markings in this said to be dedicated to the Freemasons, which carry their own separate theories about being linked to the Illuminati. A lot of people also say that from an aerial view, the airport looks like a swastika, but honestly, I don't really think it's noticeable unless you're really, really looking for it. And the other things is the creepy murals. These were designed by Leo Tanguma. One is called World Dream of Peace, and the other is in peace and harmony with nature. However, they're depicting themes of death and again, apocalyptic times. I'm pretty sure a soldier stabbing a dove means the exact opposite of peace. And there's literally children in caskets, but don't worry, it doesn't stop there. Welcome to the—
Did you ever hear about the Denver theory? The Denver airport
That's
theory?
the most commented. Yo, talk about that.
Yeah.
Because they're saying that the Freemasons like have control over the airport, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Okay, so here's the thing. So the Denver airport theory goes that they had this airport, right? They were building, and for whatever reason, it went $2 billion over budget.
Oh, it went over budget?
Yeah, it went $2 billion over budget, and it was dragged on for an extra 15 months.
Oh, so they're building some...
So here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
So these construction workers came out and then they said that they're building underground buildings.
I heard of it.
Like, I think 5 something underground buildings with multiple floors underneath the airport. And that's like some of the construction workers said. So the whole theory is that this airport has a bunker for like the elite.
Yeah.
Like the Freemasons, the elite, the rich and powerful, right? Now, there's so many different like, kind of symbolism around the airport.
Like the horse, right? Yeah,
there's one thing, it's called like Blucifer.
Yeah, Blucifer.
Yeah, bro, it's like a blue demonic horse with glowing red eyes. Like
Blucifer. Oh, what?
How obvious could that be?
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
how obvious could that be? Like,
the Denver airport theory is so creepy. No one knows why it was built because Denver already had a fully functioning airport in downtown. But this one went $2 billion over budget and took 2 years longer than expected to finish. It's rumored that it cost so much because it has a 5-story underground facility, which might be a doomsday bunker for the elite and rich or something much worse. But airport officials claim that it's just an underground baggage system that was never used. Throughout the airport, there's also disturbing and eerie murals depicting things like destruction and the apocalypse, and several gargoyle statues which are said to be symbols of protection. But the creepiest is this blue Mustang statue named Blucifer. It's 32 feet tall with glowing red eyes, and when the artist was making it, the head fell over him, which instantly killed him. But they still finished the statue and put it up. The airport also has 2 secret runways which are believed to be used by the government. And there's even a time capsule from 1994 buried inside, which can't be opened until 2094, which might finally explain all of these secrets. What do you think they're hiding in the Denver airport?
Yo, I'm back with another video. There's just something not right about the Denver International Airport. The Denver International Airport could actually be home to them. And yep, by them, I mean the elites. Now let's get into it. 1. The physical design of the Denver International Airport. Underneath this airport, you have underground tunnels, and you have hidden buildings as well. Some underground tunnels employees have access to, Others no one has access to. Some underground buildings employees have access to. Others employees don't. The ones that they don't have access to, heavily guarded and heavily restricted. Employees of the Denver International Airport have shown concern to this. There has also been reports from employees themselves, anonymous of course, of screams coming from within these tunnels. These reports aren't even taken seriously, but there's been multiple reports of screams coming from these tunnels. But scary as it seems, this may be a hotspot for human trafficking or sex trafficking. And I'm gonna make this clear before we move on. Yes, they have train tunnels and train tunnels exist. Everyone has access to those. Also have other tunnels stemming from the train tunnels, and those they don't have access to. And next we have this dedication plaque to the Denver International Airport with the Mason symbol on it. This is a time capsule for the airport. This message reads, "Time capsule beneath the stone contains messages and memorabilia to the people of Colorado in 2094. This time capsule cannot be touched until 2094. And in this time capsule, it's said to have future world secrets, information gathered together for a future apocalypse, and of course smaller things like history and facts about Colorado. Nonetheless, this Mason time capsule and the underground tunnels prove that the Denver International Airport is a hotspot for the elites. Lastly, the murals that are included within the Denver International Airport. Art is supposed to be beautiful, but these two murals inside of the Denver International Airport, they're everything but beautiful. In this mural, you can see represented 2 children dead and a dead mom as well. Earth is on fire. You have caged animals. You see a sadness and sorrow and grief and death. And for what reason is this being displayed at an airport? Here with this mural, it's all about war. Here in this mural, you see a cycle of parents grieving with the loss of their child. Again, you see child death displayed. We all know that does represent death. This is representation of slaughter. Slaughter of children, mistreatment of children. Why is everything so focused on children? And not even just the murals, the entire place focused on children. An elite hotspot. Trust me, I got a lot more information as to why I think the Denver International Airport is a hotspot for the elites. I'm running out of time, so y'all let me know if y'all want a part 2, and let me know what y'all think in the comments. Yo, let's get it. Part 2 to the truth behind the Denver International Airport. To hear about the facts that I'm about to provide y'all along with the evidence I provided in part 1, it does all start to make sense as to why I think the Denver International Airport is a hotspot for the elites. Let's get into it. Y'all didn't know construction was finally complete for the Denver International Airport, February 1995. But this way it get crazier. Construction for the Denver International Airport went nearly $3 billion over budget. And it took 16 months longer to complete construction. During the time of 1995, locals wondered what other construction had to be done as far as the Denver International Airport. What they didn't know was that internal construction was being made. Secret tunnels were being created. Hidden buildings were being created. So yeah, when you say $3 billion over budget, of course it makes you wonder. Like, what's truly going on here? And I think we know. Next, you got the runway of the airport. And there's no way this is a coincidence. The runway being in the shape of a swastika, there's no way that's a coincidence. Whether it's anything evil going on at the Denver International Airport or not, I think the people who made the physical design have a lot of explaining to do. They put this airport in bad lighting. And then lastly, you have the story of Blucifer. Blucifer was created by artist and sculptor Luis Jimenez. In 2006, while sculptor Jimenez was working on the final touches for Blucifer, all he had to do was finish the paintings for the body, had to finish the construction on the head, and he had to place the red eyes in. So of course, his next step was to finish the hottest part remaining, the construction of the head. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to finish. Moments after inserting the eyes into the head of Blucifer, head of Blucifer fell onto Jimenez, severed the artery in his leg, and it resulted in death. I've seen comments of people from Denver saying that once they see the eyes of the horse, it gives them chills. It gives them such an uneasy and eerie feeling. People are always saying this, so it only leaves you to wonder. Is Blucifer the horse evil? Can you actually feel an evil presence when you're around this horse? Or is it people just being dramatic? Now y'all go ahead and put all these pieces together with part 1 and let me know what y'all think in the comments.
The million-dollar question, what's underneath the Denver airport? Well, it took an extra 16 months and $2 billion to build because they built a massive underground space underneath the building that could fit a 5-story building. And they said it so luggage can get around easier? Yeah, I don't think so. This dedication stone makes me feel like there's something else going on. This was provided by the Freemasons, and it's a time capsule for the people in Colorado to open in 2094. Just under the stone it reads New World Airport Commission, which sounds just like New World Order. And if you add up the numbers on the bottom of the stone, 191994, you get 33, which is the highest degree of Freemason, which contains the most powerful people in the world. So when people say underneath the airport is the Illuminati or Freemason headquarters, it doesn't sound that crazy to me. I mean, an airport is one of the most secure places you can be. It's the biggest airport in the United States. There's a massive amount of space under the airport, and there's a Freemason dedication stone.
The Denver International Airport was built $2 billion over budget with a ton of underground bunkers and tunnels. One reporter and engineer got curious and took these only 2 photos. The bunker's over 55 square miles, and some people think it's a secret medical testing facility.
So we just landed in Denver. We're waiting for our bags, and I'm standing here, and all of a sudden I hear something speaking to me. I turn around, and it's a gargoyle who periodically decides to talk to you and scare the hell out of you. Well played, Denver. Well played.
Come here, come here. Get out of here while you can, kid. I used to be just like you 200 years ago. Take me with you. I can fit in a carry-on. Hey, I'll give you $100 if you come sit here in my place and let me take your flight out of here. Hey, excuse me. Excuse me. Can I borrow a phone? Mine's been stuck in airplane mode for about 6,000 years. Could you set up a Tinder account for me? Sitting here gets pretty lonely. My knees are killing me. Sitting like this for thousands of years will do that to you. Hey, you with the black luggage. No, not you. You. Looking good. Hey, Frank. Frank, is that you? Oh, I'm sorry. I mistook you for another gargoyle. That's a little too close for comfort, lady.
Oh, damn.
What, you never seen a talking gargoyle before? Welcome to Illuminati headquarters. I mean, Denver International Airport.
It's not a conspiracy.
Oh, it's because of the conspiracy. Look at me. I'm a little know-it-all. Will you get back over here? I got a question about this.
Of all the conspiracy theories, what's your favorite? The Denver airport is a good one.
Talk to me. Educate me on the Denver airport conspiracy.
There's just such a number of world powers and world leaders, I think, that have bought property in or around that specific airport. I'm talking like,
oh, because there is nothing around there.
I'm talking about like doomsday bunker shit, like the Queen of England, the prime ministers, the different presidents, and then, well, you have all that stuff that's on the surface, but that's real. People, like, you could know that. You could look at like the records. That's actually happened. But there's murals and paintings on the walls of the airport as you're walking through that depict like semi-demonic type things, that like satanic worship type stuff. Oh yeah, there's that weird horse in the front too that people don't like. Yeah, that's one of them. Knife on the pigeon, which the pigeon is peace or something, like, not sure. But that's a fucking terrifying little photo.
I like that. I would buy some stock in that.
The other day, I explored the Denver airport in hopes of finding the secret tunnels that everyone's been talking about, and it resulted in me nearly getting arrested. I think you're gonna reach the tunnel. There's no secret tunnel. Yeah, the tunnels are for luggage only. And for everyone that wants an update on the hidden camera, I have some unfortunate news. The camera recorded everything, and I remember putting it back into its case, but when I went to download the footage, the camera was missing. I've been looking everywhere for it the past couple days, so I'm hoping to find it because I'm getting kind of freaked freaked out. I've been seeing countless videos on the Denver airport.
They're hiding in the Denver airport.
Secret of the Denver airport. So today, we're gonna try and see if there's actually the secret tunnels that everyone's been talking about. We got these construction outfits so that we'll blend in, and I also added this tracker and camera to my suitcase to help us find any weird entry points. We literally just got on the plane to Denver, and we're gonna be arriving in a couple hours, so stay tuned because we're gonna keep everyone updated along the way.
Y'all, I'm in the Conspiracy Theory Denver airport and I'm trying to find all these secret tunnels. I think this is my trick. I'm gonna follow these construction workers. They look like they going somewhere. I'm on their ass. Okay, they keep looking back, so I think they're onto me, so I'm just gonna lay back a little bit. I've played too many video games like this. I think the only way for me to get into any type of door is to, you know, uniform swap. Something's weird. They just went in the emergency exit. That's a fire valve. Like I said, I came here for one reason. I gotta find these tunnels. Okay, there's workers right there, worker right there, and a worker over there. When they're not looking, I'm gonna make a run for the door. You know what, I just gotta be confident. I gotta go in there, don't hesitate. Made it in. I'm gonna see how high this goes up. I made it to the top, but I need a badge to enter this. Might try a new tactic in part 2.
The Denver airport.
Ooh, yes, let's go.
They used to have these murals put up, but they have since taken it down because it got just way too much like, what the heck am I looking at? I'm just going to describe some of the things that were in these murals.
Oh no.
Huge. This is terrible.
Okay.
This was in the airport.
Kids would have seen this.
Yes. Everyone would have seen this.
Got it. Okay.
Children in coffins.
Oh my gosh.
A forest and a city on fire. A child holding a Mayan tablet depicting the end of the world.
Nice.
What?
A Nazi wearing a gas mask.
What?
Okay.
Holding a sword that was stabbing a dove.
Not tasteful.
There's a mural of the children all over the world who had killed the Nazi, and they're bringing their weapons wrapped in their country's flag to a little German boy.
Why?
Who was at the center of it with a hammer.
What?
Can we just
like a hammer like a communism?
Yeah.
When you tell these stories, I'm often thinking this isn't real, but as you're talking, I'm pulling up every single one of these images.
I'm telling you, this is so terrible. But the one with the Nazi, it was showing like people that were like starving, and there was a woman holding her deceased baby.
Oh my gosh,
That's what I'm saying. Like, why is this in the airport?
You're in Colorado. Draw some mountains, buddy.
Oh
That's what I'm saying.
This is the old mural in the Denver International Airport. Let's break down the symbolism on the mural. First, it's the Quetzal bird. The Quetzal bird is a Mayan symbol of freedom, and it also was associated with Quetzalcoatl. Next is the passenger pigeon. The passenger pigeon was extinct by colonizers. It was said to be used by indigenous tribes to send messages. Next is the jaguar. In the 60s, the jaguars was thought to be extinct in North America. Colonizers killed a lot of jaguars in North America. The Olmec had it, the Mayans and the mound builders used the jaguar in their symbolism. Next, you see the turtle in the neck, symbolizing the taking over or colonizing of Turtle Island, North America. Then you have the great auk, which was very important in indigenous American cultures, both as a food source and as a symbolic item. The great auk was extinct on the Atlantic coast of North America because they were very easy to kill. 200 great auk beaks were found on an indigenous man on the Atlantic coast of North America. We know the truth now.
Denver International Airport. They put it in your face. Wizards drilling holes in tunnels. It's in your face.
So usually I'm not into conspiracy theories and stuff on TikTok, but I'll be honest. Bro went missing. He was in the Denver airport. That's been something trending going on for a little while. All I did was stitch the video. The video is still out there. It still exists. The whole thing is muted. The sound's gone, which is alright, whatever. I pinned the video to the top of my profile. You can't even hear what I'm saying, but I still got the captions. That dude is missing. Or he playing around. But I need to find out, is he okay?
Denver Airport, which is super viral for its governmental conspiracy theories. And after exploring it, it gets bonkers. In 1995, the airport officially opened to the public, but it required several more years to complete the construction, and it was billions of dollars over budget. Inside the airport, there are murals with kids in coffins, a child holding a tablet predicting the end of the world, and even one with a Nazi in a gas mask stabbing a dove with a sword. But that's not all. Outside of the Denver airport, there is a 38-foot, 9,000-pound statue of a blue horse with red glowing eyes. And the craziest part is, the creator of the statue actually got unalived after the head of the horse fell onto him. When we were leaving, I tried getting a video of it, but immediately was pulled over by cops. Pretty sussy. This is the Denver airport, which is super viral for its governmental conspiracy.
Let's talk about how creepy and sketchy the Denver International Airport is. A lot of people believe this airport has secret underground tunnel. Some people believe it's for elites to hide. Because for those who don't know, Colorado has one of the most amount of bunker for rich people, for government officials, for people in power, in case everything starts going really bad on Earth. So some people believe these tunnels have bunkers in them, or secret pathways to where they're hiding a lot of stuff from the general public. Oh no, these tunnels are just for workers and luggage. So why is there anonymous workers saying there's a lot of tunnels they are not allowed to go into? They went $1.1 billion over budget because they had problems with baggage system in a new airport. Why did an airport cost almost $5 billion to build? In part 2, we're going to talk about the mural.
Denver, I love you, but respectfully, I hate your airport. Never mind that the Illuminati meets under here, or that you have a terrifying blue demon horse that killed its maker at your main entrance. Why is it so far away? Huh? I am halfway to Kansas right now. Also, does everything have to be a 20-minute walk here? Can I get a shuttle to my shuttle? I hate this airport.
So another thing about the airport that I want to talk about is, well, there's 4 different things people say that if you're going to the Denver airport, you're likely to have something odd happen to you if you encounter them. The first, like I was talking about before, is looking at the blue horse and the red eyes at night. The second is if you encounter the murals in different ways, which sort of is the story that I was telling about the girl. The third is the tunnels underneath the airport, which is a whole separate thing. And there's the fourth, which we'll get to later. But I want to just talk about the third for now, because another story that I heard is about a guy who was flying long distance, and from I think Tokyo, he was flying to somewhere in the Caribbean, but he was stopping over in Denver just as a layover. And he caught his flight. He got there late at night, 11 p.m., whatever. And his transfer flight wasn't until 6 in the morning, so he had a lot of time to kill. And he was just dozing in one of the terminals, wandering around. He got some food, and time was passing. Eventually, he had an hour left. He was stretching his legs, and he had never heard any of these weird stories about the airport or anything. So he was just walking around, and he did see a strange mural. It wasn't the previous mural, but it was a different one showing. This one you could Google. It's really weird. It shows almost what looks like an SS soldier holding a shotgun. It's but the barrel of the gun is extremely long, and there's all these children dancing on the barrel, bizarre anti-war, pro-war message. Very confusing. But the man was just walking around looking at it, and he had to use the bathroom, so he walked down this long hallway. And at the end of the hallway, there were 4 doors. There was one that said, men. There was one that was women. There was one that was family, or all people. And then there was the 4th door, which said, keep out, do not enter, wrong way. It said orderlies only on it, and all of that. And, curious as anybody, the man tried the door, but it was locked, and he went to the bathroom, did his thing, came out, and he, again, was just very intrigued by this door, because it was, so protesting not to come in, and he put his ear to it, and he heard, footsteps, on the other side, and so he, flattened himself against the wall, and the door opened, this figure came out wearing, all white, started walking away, and before the door closed, the man slipped inside, and he just let it close behind him. And he looked around, and he was in this enormous, dark space, but at the very end, there was, a light. And so he walked towards the light, and he saw that there was a giant escalator going down. And he was okay, this is kind of weird, but he was curious, so he stepped on it and it started going down, and he saw right next to him there was a second escalator going up. But he looked down and he looked up and he had this strange feeling because it was just bigger than any escalator he'd ever been on, and the further down he went, the more he realized that there was nobody else there on it, above him or below him. And he started getting really strange, and finally after like a minute and a half of just going down into this darkness, he reached the bottom, and he had a choice where he was like, I could just get on this up escalator and just get out of here, I don't know what's going on, or he could keep going. And he saw another slightly lit area at the end of this bottom place, and he walked towards it, and he stepped through, and he was in this room that was enormous, the biggest room he'd ever been in his entire life, and it was completely white. It was like being in a football stadium, just maybe two on top of each other. It was so big, and he was looking around trying to take it all in because it made no sense. He'd only ridden the escalator for 2-3 minutes down. He must have been deep under the ground looking around. And he saw something in one of the corners. It was like metallic and silver almost, and it made sense to him. Like he recognized it, but he couldn't really tell what it was. And then he realized it was a toilet plunger, and that there was part of the white that was standing out from the other that was an enormous toilet. And he freaked out. He's like, what could be so big that would use a toilet? And he turned around and started running out of the room back towards the escalator. And he heard this enormous, like, thundering sound behind him. And he was so freaking scared. He ran up the escalator. He started sprinting up a bit, but below there was this, like, shaking, this pounding noise. And he just sped all the way up. And he finally reached the top. And he ran out. He slammed the door behind him. And he turned around. And he was back in the Denver airport. And there were people walking around, pulling their luggage, talking, like, whatever, all of that. And he looked, he saw the door, don't enter, keep out, whatever. He tried it was locked. And he was like, all right, that was weird. He caught his flight, he flew out of there. Next time around, didn't do anything weird. Nothing weird happened to him.
Conspiracies that will blow your mind. Part 1. The Denver Airport. From far away, the Denver Airport just looks like any other airport. Until you get closer and you see this. This is Blucifer. This blue Mustang is said to be a horse of one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. And with those red demon eyes, I wouldn't doubt it. As you get into the airport, you can see why it's considered a hub for Illuminati and Freemason activity. There are things all over the airport like this, covered in Freemason and Illuminati symbols. The Denver airport was even funded by the New World Airport Commission. And the Illuminati goes hand in hand with the New World Order. The airport's art museum has things like this and this, which are said to be evidence of an ancient race long forgotten. On top of all that, Denver's airport has miles of tunnel systems underneath. For what? What airport has miles of tunnels? Are they used to transport aliens? The world's elite? And what's crazy is they're not trying to hide it at all. There are posters like this, and this, and this all over the airport. Is there something sinister going on, or is it a marketing scheme?
What's below the Denver International Airport? Part 3. So all the employees walked by this locked door daily, and virtually every one of them had tried to use all their keys to open it, but not one of them worked. Some figured it was just a prank by the staff to see who was honest and who would try to open the door. Others figured it was nothing but a maintenance closet with a water heater in it. Nevertheless, a large number of them continued to speculate that it was something like a Masonic meeting room or a tomb. Some even suggested that it was a door that led to an underground military base that kept anti-gravity and alien craft in it. The new guy pondered over it often. He found himself thinking about it when he lay his head down at night. But he really just thought it was some joke or a trick. Nevertheless, his imagination continued to run wild. And as he worked, months went by and nothing out of the ordinary happened. Until one day. It was late at night in the end of his shift and he was getting ready to leave when suddenly he saw the flash of a bright light. In a flicker, he immediately recognized it as a flashlight that was getting pointed towards him, then away from him. Curiously, he walked up to the glass door that separated the underground tunnels from the airport, and he peered in. He figured to see something normal, like a coworker looking for some maintenance items or somebody making their last rounds, but it was far from it. He saw a man kneeling in front of the locked door. He was wearing a pristine black suit and a gas mask. He kept peering over his shoulder as if paranoid, looking up and down the track to make sure nobody was around. He had his back turned so the new guy went unseen, and he watched and observed as he seemed to mess around with a bag or something of the sort. The gloss finish on his black dress shoes shined in the dim light of his flashlight. His mind began racing with thoughts of the conspiracies he had heard from his co-workers. He observed nervously, hoping he was going to enter the locked door, when suddenly he turned around looking at Concourse C, and the new guy slid behind the wall immediately. He did not want to be seen. His heart was in his throat. He stood there briefly, not knowing why he didn't want the man to see him, but he just didn't. And when he had caught his breath, he peered back around the corner. It was black, and the man was gone. After that, he didn't wait around any longer. He left for home immediately, confused and scared. As his head hit the pillow, he couldn't help but replay what he saw in his mind over and over again. He'd show up to work the next day, but he hadn't decided whether he should tell his fellow employees or not.
Hey, creepy crew. If you made it to the end of this video, you're in luck. As the shadows lengthen and the night deepens, remember that your story could be the one to chill us all to the bone. We're looking for the creepiest, spine-tingling tales to feature on our show, and the grand prize of $100 on Cash App is still up for grabs. Submit your stories by July 15th, and you might just be the one to take home the top prize. Our first, second, and third place winners will all receive recognition and rewards, so don't hesitate. The darkness is calling, and we can't wait to hear your stories. Submit now, if you dare. And here's some exciting news. I'll be hosting these giveaways monthly, with prizes getting bigger as our channel grows. Yes, that means you can earn extra cash just for supporting content that you enjoy. I know our spooky, creepy, and paranormal stories are hard to share out of fear of being judged, but you know what? We're all family here on the Creepy Collective, and this is a safe place to express yourself. And these haters, that just so happens to be totally addicted to our channel, don't stand a chance against me. Me and the rest of the creepy crew will drag their narrow asses up out this comments section. Like, really? Fuck them. I try to be nice. I am nice. But don't get it twisted, girlfriend. I'm not the one. You'll be seeking therapy after trying me or my creepy family. I will curse you out from the Ruta to the Tuta, from the womb to the tomb. You may think that you're afraid of ghosts, but baby, by the time I get done with you, the only thing you'll fear is me, Daddy Rabbit.